Okay, all welcome to our weekly Power Zoom. Oh my gosh, you guys, what an amazing GTC to roll off of, right? I know that we are all just jam-packed this week, just working hard to just put every single thing that we learned from GTC into action and to just make April the biggest darn April we've ever seen and roll into an incredible May. It was definitely by far my favorite GTC on so many levels. But guys, I am so excited that this schedule for our Zoom trainings turned out to be the way it is. And because I know Sarah and I, we were trying to schedule and with different conflicts, and I think it's just because God knew that she was supposed to share tonight. Because what happens after we come off of a big event, we're so jazzed up and so excited, but we can instantly roll into some fear and some doubt and some anxiety. And so I cannot wait for you guys to hear from Sarah. Sarah is an executive national vice president, you guys. She joined Arbonne in 2005. She's married to her amazing husband, Steve, that we've gotten to know so well. I feel like one of the reasons why you want to earn the trips is because you get to know so many of these folks. And so even though her and I live on opposite sides of the country, we've been able to develop these fun friendships, you guys. But she used to be a school teacher, and she has 4 kiddos, and she has been a Circle of Excellence winner, you guys, and get this, she has won 11 AIT trips, you guys. So I'm just excited to hear what she has to share and what she's going to be sharing with us tonight on such an important topic. So Sarah, I'm going to go ahead and turn the Zoom over to you.
Okay, thanks, Beth, so much. And yeah, our GTC, don't you feel like the GTCs get better and better and better? And
Yes.
and they're already starting to plan the next one, and how can they top what we just went to? So it's really crazy. So and you're right, Beth, there's always a high, but then when there's a high, there's sometimes a low. So we have to remember that. I think there's some things we just got to remember and just roll with, because it just is part of what's Sarah's surname? What is the surname? Is that last name? Okay, so my full name is Sarah Barber. So I'm under Valerie Makowitz, which I will totally be Val Makowitz anytime because she's amazing. For those of you guys that know Val, yeah, my last name is Sarah, and my last name is Barber, just like the barber shop. So yeah, so we are so much on a high from being in Vegas, and I look over at one of my signs. I have signs all over my house, and that one says, "Let your faith be bigger than your fear." Because I'm going to be talking about that. Whatever whatever you focus on grows. So I think Heidi Niss, we all know her as Heidi Niss, but she just got married, or Val Gunter, one of them, they had said 2 things stop us in our business. And the 2 things, and think about these 2 things, you guys, fear and laziness. So probably everything that we do in our business or whatever stops us, it probably could boil down to one of those 2 things, right? Fear or laziness. And it can look different, but it's probably one of those things. And I will tell you, after being in Arbonne for this long, 12 and a half years, I in different time points in my business, I've been fearful and I've been lazy. That's just honest. And you'll find that I just love to be super transparent, and I'm learning to be vulnerable and transparent and honest, because I think that's the best thing. I think that you guys can identify more with that than trying to put a mask on and think that everything's perfect. So if you guys will let me do that, I'm going to do that. So limitless, that was our theme this past weekend. And I was just thinking about that word, limitless. And I just wrote some things down. No limit, no cap, no lid, or no ceiling. So think about that in our business. To be limitless, no limit, no cap, no lid, or no ceiling. And that's what we get to do in Arbonne, you guys. So what about fear? What about fearless? Think about a life or your business with no fear, no anxiety, no second guessing, and no apprehensiveness. And I don't even know if apprehensiveness is a word, but you all get what I mean. So think about those things. What if you could live your life and work your business without any fear at all? So a lot of us, fear looks different on on all of us, as different as we all look on this call, and as different as our whys are. Fear looks different on all of us. So you might not struggle with the same fears that I have, but we all have fears. Can we all agree that we all have fears in this business in one way, shape, or form? So I want you to think about something, and I want you to write something down, because I really want you to really wonder about this. If I could not fail, or would not, I should say, if I would not fail, where would I want my business to be come January 1st, 2019? And you can write a couple things. You can write down your level, but I want to tell you guys, levels are just titles, and titles and levels do not matter. What matters is your paycheck, because those are the things that get you closer to your whys and your choices. So you don't even really have to write a title. If you want to write a title, you can, because we do have levels in our business. But think about it. What paycheck would you love to have January 1st, 2019? So I want you to think about that. But then as you think about that question, what are some fears or anxieties that might float up? And you can even write these down, because it's important to see where we're at. So think about that question. If you could not and would not fail, where would your business be January 1st, 2019? And you can write a goal. You can write volume goal. You can write whatever speaks to you, volume goal, paycheck amount, or a level. And then as you think about that, what are some fears or anxieties that might start surfacing that might be your trigger, your go-to things? And we just heard from Mel Robbins that those are pathways that we create in our mind. So we have to really just denounce that and declare different things over our life and over our business. But we all have different fears. So I was trying to think, okay, I talk about fear a lot because I feel like I'm the poster child of fear. So I was trying to think, okay, well, how can I share sort of my story in a different way? So write down the side of your page, your paper, fearless. And that's what I did on my page. I just wrote down, just in big block letters, fearless, Fearless. And I don't normally train like this, but I thought I kind of just started. I was in the shower, and a lot of times I do my thinking in the shower or when I'm running, and this just kind of came to me, and I kept, like, words and just ideas kept coming to my mind. So fearless. So the first letter is F. And what I want you to write down is forget the past. So write down forget the past. Okay, so here's where you don't dwell on your mistakes. Don't dwell where you messed up. Don't dwell there, because guess what? You'll stay there if you do. Whatever you focus on grows. So that's why I always have to remind myself, let your faith be bigger than your fear. Let everything else be bigger than your fear. And remember, you have to give yourself grace in this business, because I read a quote. I found a quote that said, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So obviously, if you've done, so whenever I help people get started, and we do spa parties and different healthy living events, and whenever I start someone, I always say, so the best thing about, and the joy that I love, and the best thing about this business is we get to just help people and come alongside people. And it's only because I've done a few more of these events that I'm here. So pretend this, whoever I'm starting, pretend we're the same person. So it's just because you do it more. But remember, you just got to start. You're not going to be amazing when you start, and it's okay. I know I'm super competitive. So, and I'm competitive against myself and against, in sports and everything. And I actually still have 2 track records at my high school in '94. So I'm dating myself, but I'm super competitive. And now I lost my train of thought. Shoot, I had a really good idea and I didn't write it down, and it just came to me. And if it comes back, I'll tell you. So forget the past. And oh shoot, I wish I would have remembered. I'm super competitive. Shoot, I can't remember that. Okay, so A is, E. E is embrace who you are. Embrace who you are. And then I put in another one, embrace where you are. Because honestly, you guys, where you are is where you've chosen to be in our business, right? Because we are in pretty much 100% control of our business, right? So embrace who you are and where you are. But I want to talk about embrace who you are. You guys, don't compare. Because comparison leads to complacency, for me at least. Comparison leads to complacency, leads to paralysis. That's what it did for me. You guys, I spent a lot of my business watching other people, and we obviously, and I'm going to say some things that seem like they're contradictory, but I spent a lot of my business watching people, but comparing myself to them, my weaknesses to their strengths. And you know what I did to myself? I chopped myself down at the knees, and I compared myself to nothing. So there were points in my business, you guys, that I just sat there and I almost threw up my hands and like, I can't do this. I can't find any qualities of me that is positive. I compared myself to smithereens, really. So don't compare. And I know in this business, and I know with social media, all of that stuff, remember, we need to remind ourselves that is the highlight reel. And if you get off social media, and you feel crummy about yourself, then maybe you need to take a hiatus, because God made us in a very specific way for a very specific purpose. And so don't try to be somebody else. Try to be the best version of yourself. So embrace who you are, you guys. I used to tell, I remember, and I just did this the other day. I remember, or a couple months ago, and I remember telling Steve, why do I get so afraid of things? Why do I get so afraid of doing Zoom calls? Why do I get so afraid of doing a Facebook Live? I wish that wasn't a part of me. And, but I have to remember to embrace that, because there's strength. I can find strength in my weakness. And I know that God is trying to show me that. And if I was all perfect and hot to trot, then I would feel probably pretty prideful. So I know that there's a lot of growth, and we learn through the struggles, right? We get better and stronger through the struggles. So embrace who you are, because you're good. And remember, embrace where you are in your business, because you chose that, whether it's good or bad. And you know what? The best thing about our business is you get to take tonight, make a to-do list, and then keep moving forward tomorrow. So you get to choose your path in this business, which is amazing. The A in Fearless is attack the business plan. I was going to say forge for the F, forge ahead, but I wanted it to be stronger. Attack the business plan, rip off the Band-Aid, move forward in your business. We follow the same business plan that's worked for years and for more than a decade. It's getting in front of 40 new faces. And now there's so many different ways we can do that. You can do it through group events. You can do it through one-on-ones talking about the healthy living. You can do makeup parties. You can do Facebook groups. You can do all of these different things. You can do a Zoom party in Australia in the middle of the night because it's day there. However you can do it, but get out there. And here's the thing, you guys. I know we talk about belief all the time, and build your belief, but guess what? The best way to build your belief is to build your business, because that's when our belief will grow the most. It's not, we can read 1 million books, and that's actually one of my points is the next one, but we can read until we're blue in the face. But if we don't do anything about it, our head's going to explode. So attack the business plan, move forward one step at a time. And so my son Ty, he is 12. He is actually 3 months old when I started Arbonne, and now he's 12. And there's something called Bulldog Ambassadors, and they give tours to potential students that come into his middle school. And he's feeling a little overwhelmed because he's taking a lot of class time to do that. And it's a really big, he's like, Mom, they just really like what I'm doing. And every kid that I give the tour to comes to our school. So I'm so proud of him. But he's like, Mom, I don't know if I can do this Bulldog Ambassador thing because I feel like I'm falling behind in school. And I said, Ty, you need to take one thing at a time. That's it. One thing at a time. Do one subject at a time. And he came home last night. He's like, Mom, I have homework in every subject. So I said, that's all you do, one thing at a time. So then he came home. I picked him up from school today, because that's a perk of doing Arbonne is we get to drive our kids to and from school and have great conversations. And he said, Mom, I did it. I did one thing at a time. So, and that's another big thing about Arbonne. Your kids are watching. So give them a good show and give them something to follow, because just the stamina and the determination and the perseverance that Arbonne allows us to do as business owners, our kids watch too, and we can project that on them. So attack the business plan, go for it. I was just doing a coffee appointment with someone today, and I said, I would rather help you see that you can make thousands of dollars in the first 6 months than trickling in $50 here or there. So so just go after it, even when you're scared. I did my whole business scared, and I still do it scared, you guys. I do. But it's okay, because you just keep moving forward. So the R is read, read, read. Jim Rohn says a quote, something like this. I don't know if I'm going to say it exactly how he says it, but success is on the top shelf. To get there, you got to stand on the books you read. So I'm going to say that again. Success is on the top shelf. To get there, you got to stand on the books you read. So my husband, and I was a little bit of a reader. I read kind of like Christian novels and stuff when I first had kids. But my husband never read a book outside of high school, and he hardly read in high school and college. He tried to do Cliff Notes and stuff because he hated to read. But guess what, you guys? He reads more than me now. And he is a voracious reader and a voracious learner because he loves that. So I remember Carleeta saying that once you get what personal growth and development will do for you, you have an insatiable, is that the word? Insatiable appetite to keep learning and growing. So you guys can see, this is one of my bookshelves, and we're redoing our basement. So we have to build bookshelves all over because I don't want to get rid of my books either. So read. Self-development. It's really developing yourself into the best version of yourself. So this does not mean compare. This does not try to be like somebody else. Be good in your own skin, but be the best version of yourself. So read like crazy. And what else did I write here? That's not on that one. Okay. So read like crazy. Always have a book handy. What is on your nightstand? So here's another thing. A lot of people tell me, especially because I know that every single one of us on this call have crazy busy schedules, right? We probably have, they say we're given a platter. We probably have a turkey platter. And we figure out how to manage it. And one thing, I got to meet Mel Robbins in Vegas. And one thing she said was, there is no such thing as balance. It's boundaries. Think about that. There's no such thing as balance. It's boundaries. That really helped me think about not having enough time and, working a lot when my kids are around, but I need better boundaries. Right. Okay. Shoot. This is what happens when I don't write it down. This is what you need to tell yourself if you don't have time. And I heard this from somewhere, and it really cuts me in the heart sometimes. Next time you say you don't have time, tell yourself it's just not my priority. And that could really help us maybe do some things that are really important. So for instance, I'm not great at getting supper on the table. And usually, like today, I knew I had a 5:45 coffee appointment to share the business with somebody. So I should have, so you guys can pray for me for this, because this is what I really want to do. I really want to have a sit down meals, but my kids are active in sports and we're usually running and I'm usually standing up and eating, but I really want to sit down with candles, my friend. So here's an idea. My friend Tina, who helps me decorate my house, she has a candlelight dinner every single night with her 4 girls and her husband. But she said, I don't want to reserve those for the special nights. Every night is special. And when she forgets to light her candles, the girls remember. So that would be my ultimate goal, but then there's grace, right? But I should have planned better. So I need to tell myself, which is really hard to tell myself, dinner together was not my priority tonight. And that's tell yourself those things and it'll help you keep you in line a little bit, but then there's grace, you got to remember. So the L in fearless is listen to yourself. Listen to yourself, really listen to yourself. And then I want to challenge you, talk to yourself out loud, because how many times are we more negative than positive to ourselves? And I want to throw another, these are kind of toe stepping things, but I'm stepping on my own toes, guys. It's not just for you guys. How do we talk to our husbands and our family compared to how do we talk to our team? That's another one that kind of gets me. So we cannot have a positive business if we have a negative mindset. Your business can't keep growing up and up and up and up if we have a negative mindset. We have the most influence over ourselves because we hear ourselves the most. We have the most influence over ourselves because we hear ourselves the most. So think about that. And are we building ourselves up and encouraging ourselves, or are we just, I always think of what Rita says, when you stand in front of the mirror naked and you'll have a laugh. But honestly and truly, guys, especially, and probably most of us are women here, What do we say to ourselves when we see ourselves in the mirror for the
Oh,
first
that's pretty.
Hey, Legina. Or somebody said, oh, that's pretty. Oh, you're talking to me about this. Right. That's good. So that's the important thing is you need to say, that's pretty. Or you need to say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So it's redirecting our speech to better ourselves. So listen to yourselves. I'm seeing what else I wrote there. Okay. The E in fearless is encourage someone else with your story. Encourage someone else with your story. Be transparent. Be vulnerable. How did you overcome different things? Because people need to, sorry, I'm getting a call. I have to throw my phone down. Because people need to hear your story. So I'm going to be super vulnerable, you guys. There were a couple different times in my business. So, we have to do phone calls and we have to do Zoom call. Now we have to do Zoom and Facebook Live, and these are always stretching. Okay, so I am an ENVP in Arbonne. Okay, so I should know how to do all these things, and these things should not make me nervous. 1 month ago, I was doing a Facebook Live for another team, and if anybody's experienced anxiety and panic attacks and kind of that fear, it almost comes up. Yep. Okay. I see some hands. I want to see more of your faces. So you know how it comes up and it almost chokes you and you can't talk? That happened 1 month ago. So 12 and a half years into Arbonne, that happened 1 month ago. And I had to turn it off and regain my confidence again. But guess what, you guys? I voxed her and I said, I am so sorry. I don't know what came. Sometimes it just comes out of the blue, and I promise you I'll do it. So you guys, I tried all day long to do that. It's just my story, and I do it all the time. I tried all day long. I wasn't able to conquer that until 10 o'clock that night. And I was supposed to do I was doing the live at like 1:30 in the afternoon. So I just say that, and it's hard for me to say that because it makes me a little embarrassed because I should know how to do it, but it's just honest. So you guys, you can do this. You can totally do this. One other story. So about 10 years ago, so I've been doing Arbonne a long time, I was doing a 3-way call. And it was my friend Nikki and her friend. And I was talking about the business. And that same thing happened. So this is 10 years ago and a month ago. So it happened again. And I disconnected the call. And I had to wait to regain my composure. And then I think I lied even. I said, I don't know what happened with my phone, which is not good either. So don't lie. But that's just honest. And I wanted to share that tonight because some of you might be in those same shoes. And it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. I used to not want to do any kind of video thing at all because I'm not the best speaker. But then there's the comparing part. But if you can just be you and give yourself grace and just speak from your heart, you'll do amazing things. You will. And then so we're on the 2 S's, I think. Yes. The last 2 S's. Surround yourself with good people who will challenge you. Surround yourself with good people who will challenge you. So that's like GTC. That's like team meetings. That's like these Zooms. That's like anywhere in Arbonne, anywhere in the Arbonne culture. It is unique and special. You'll never find, if you're new on this call, you'll never, ever find a culture like Arbonne. You never will. Don't let it challenge you and let it encourage you. Learn from them. Don't compare. You're not allowed to compare in this business at all because we're all messed up. We're all hot messes because that's just who we are. Nobody has you know what, you guys? Nobody wants to follow someone too perfect anyway, because then they think they have to measure up, and you don't have to. We are worthy because of who created us. We are not worthy because of a number on a screen. We are not. So surround yourself with good people who will challenge you. This is iron sharpens iron. That's what I love about this business is I am a different person today than I was even yesterday. I'm a different person today than I was 12 or 13 years ago. And somebody posted something. If you're like the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And if they're not encouraging you, then find another circle. And that's kind of harsh to say, especially it can't be your husband. You got to love him anyway, always, forever. Just pray for yourself and him. But learn from them. So I see Beth's sweet face on here. So Beth Gillardi and Melissa Mercer were my two go-to people when I struggled with a lot of fear. And I remember, Beth, when I texted you, I boxed you and then I erased it? And that you saw it on the screen and then you connected with me. But learn from people that have walked the same path as you, because they've already walked it. So I've run a couple of marathons and half marathons, and I'm not going to talk to someone that's never run a marathon to give me advice, right? Just like I'm not going to talk to someone that never struggled with anxiety and fear to give me advice. I'm going to talk to Beth and Melissa because they're my 2 go-to ladies, because they've struggled with it in their business and they've conquered it. So back to encourage someone else with your story. They need to hear it. They need to see you, because sometimes your story is just to encourage somebody else. And then the last S is be selfless. Be selfless in this business. So it's selflessness. None of this business is about me. Yes, we start because we started because we wanted, I wanted to replace my preschool teaching income. I wanted to truly make $1,200 a month, but I honestly didn't believe I could do that, because I thought you just made $50 here or there, and these things were never a business until I started building it. But the sooner that you see that this business is not about you, the faster your business will grow. What do they say? Insecurity and pride, they both have the same root. We're thinking about ourselves. Stop thinking about yourself, because anytime we're gripped with fear or anxiety, guess who we're thinking about? Ourselves. We are, and we just get so wrapped up in like a tight bundle. And but if we just release that and focus on other people, like tonight as I was preparing for this, I was just thinking about the sweet faces that are on this Zoom, that I could just, maybe my story will help somebody. And so I was trying to, and honestly, I was anxious to do this, because I'm working on getting better at Zooms. But I was trying to think of your faces and say, it's not about me. None of this business is about me. So if you're heading to an event that you're doing that you need to talk at, or a meeting or something, and then you start, getting those anxious feelings, just remember it's not about you. And just think of the faces that you're going to be in front of, and just breathe belief, and just be honest and vulnerable with people, and and that is your best self, you guys. So I just keep thinking, think of these 2 words, limitless and fearless. And those both together, you will create a life and design your life that will blow your socks off. So just to run through really quick, forget the past, embrace who you are, attack the business plan, read, listen to yourself, encourage someone else with your story, surround yourself with good people, and be selfless. Thank you, guys.
Oh my gosh, Sarah, thank you so much. You got to take some time to read the chat, because you definitely hit a lot of chords. And thank you for being selfless and spending time and just praying and preparing on what would speak to us, because I know it really did hit a lot of chords. I appreciate you so much. And I have taken crazy little notes that I hope I can read, because it was the piece of paper that was near me when I started the Zoom. And I'm like, darn it, where's my notebook? It's downstairs. But thank you so much. Gosh, there's so much here. And it's so true. It's so true. It just goes back to like just taking our eyes off of us. And I don't know about you guys, but the thing that I got out of this GTC the most was really that same concept is getting my eyes off of me. And we have a gift to share with people, and this gift needs to be given out to everyone. And the only thing that stands between us and giving that gift out is us.
Mhm.
And so thank you for being vulnerable and sharing with us, how you've attacked it. And what you've done is you've done it scared. And guys, don't wait for an emotion. Don't wait for this feeling of confidence. It doesn't take confidence to get to the top of this company. It takes courage. And courage, in my opinion, courage is doing it scared.
Yep.
So join us as we all do it scared, because we're all dealing, like Sarah said, with some form of a fear, you guys. Think about it. We have, counting tomorrow, 5 days left in the month, you guys. Lots of time for us to go out and just knock it out of the park. But it is gonna be us facing whatever fear we're staring at right now at this moment, but looking at our whys and knowing our whys are bigger than that fear. And but thank you, Sarah, for sharing. Oh man, it was so good to see you. I hate that there's so much time in between the time that we see each other.
I know.
But I appreciate you so much.
Yep. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you. Love you, friend.
You too.